Spider-Man traveling the building on the way in. He's all...
When mountain climbers are not mountain climbing.
Yeah, all right, day 2, we're heading into the London Blockchain Convention. Just to recap on a couple of the important notes from yesterday, there were really big announcements. The N-Chain team, Owen Vaughn, he announced that he's going to be, they're doing a atomic swap where you can send Bitcoin to an Ethereum wallet without going to an exchange and without creating a third party. So basically, you know, if you have Ethereum and I have Bitcoin, BTC or BSV, whatever chain it is, you just click on the this N-Chain site and you can send it to the other party without having to use an exchange and pay the extra fees. So the benefit is you know, it eliminates the risk of the third party or the error, and also the fees. So another big announcement. Oh yeah, something else interesting from the My Banka guys, that Paul, which we watched at the end of the day there, and he talked about how he's actually, yeah, if you have a European bank, you can automatically buy Bitcoin SV right out of your bank with the My Banka app. So it doesn't even require an exchange or KYC because it's working with the existing banking laws. And it's a new law in the European Union. Well, I don't know how new it is, but it's being applied here by My Banka. That's a really big announcement. I think it's pretty revolutionary. So Barclays or any of these European banking unions. Escrip had a cool presentation with Michael. We shot some of that yesterday with some of the announcements they're doing with Tokenovate and these other companies. Yeah, so today we were going to go in and see now today's going to be day 2, you know, so I'll just just pretty much stay to the end of this video, and we'll tune into exactly all the cool stuff that's going on and see if we can get any of the really exciting announcements and kind of recap on that. Put a little vlog out at the end of the day. So stay to the end of this video. This is Gav May. I'll see you at the top.
I got on a plane, I've been flying from Africa when I was born, was when I was about 20 years old. And I remember sitting in economy and just being absolutely staggered that we were going to try and fly this tin can across the world. Like I couldn't believe it. I was reading the safety manuals and like, oh my God, they have water on planes, like blown away. Fast forward 5 years, I'm flying 50 weeks a year. I'm flying in business class and first class, and I'm just rushing on the plane, pulling out my laptop, no appreciation for the experience whatsoever. And I remember that day looking over and seeing a young lady who was probably on like a honeymoon, and she was she was sipping the champagne, and she was putting the slippers on, and she was hitting her fiance, going, Dave, look, they've got a catalogue. And I looked over and thought to myself, that used to be me. That's the joy that I used to get traveling in economy. But the only thing that's changed is my own expectations of my own life. And with it, out the door has gone my appreciation and my gratitude. So I think the most important thing for me has been to realize that every single thing, every single day, is actually exceeding my expectations I once had. Like being here and you guys deciding to give me your time is an absolute mental thing. It's a dream I just absolutely never thought would happen. And that, I think, is reason enough to realize that all my expectations at all times are actually being met. And that makes me, even as I say it, makes me feel really good. And how do I do that on a continual basis? That's what gratitude is. And that's really where we can find happiness. Like the person that cut you off in traffic this morning, the person that let you down on the way here, the Uber driver that was like 10 minutes late when it said 3 minutes. It's all expectation management. And for me, that's like the central point of happiness. And Mo taught me that.
I'm just going to start. Yo, hey everybody, we got Ian Grigg with us today, and I just want to know, for people who don't know, who is Ian Grigg?
I'm a guy who got into the field in 1995. Before it was blockchain, it was digital cash. In the 90s, there was a huge push to do digital cash. The company DigiCash in Amsterdam was doing eCash. And my company started doing the rest of finance because I figured out that if you can do eCash, then you could also do e-bonds, or you could do e-securities, or whatever.
Business case, the appropriate business case for IPv6 within enterprises. It's interesting what actually generates the interest. And so the benefits for IPv6 is reduction of administrative overhead. Now this is inside your enterprise or across the internet, the IPv6. How many people in here understand that there's an IPv4 internet and an IPv6 internet? Hands up. You know what? that, by the way, in other conferences I've been at, this is a better audience. Reason being is that as soon as you understand that, you're going, wait a minute, the future is IPv6. Why is it the future? You have reduction of administrative overhead, increase in opportunity for cybersecurity. I told you right now that you go to an IPv6 enterprise, you can actually start removing network infrastructure because you don't need it with IPv6. So also people go, wait a minute, I can save money on CapEx.
What brings you here, Miss L, Liberty Diva?
Freedom and Bitcoin.
What are you into, freedom? What are you
Why
inspired? I
freedom?
mean, so why is this a freedom? How does this represent freedom?
Well, I think it gives freedom of innovation and freedom of entrepreneurialism, and it creates sound money, which in itself is freedom. I could go on. Yeah.
So, sound money makes freedom? Like sovereign money?
Of course it does, absolutely.
How?
Well, it frees us from national debt, which is a problem in many areas of society. It manifests itself in many terrible things like war, or, like a peaceful world, and I think that BSV and Bitcoin will assist with that, hopefully.
Well, how did you put that puzzle together? That sounds like a pretty complicated puzzle that a lot of people. How did you figure that out?
Well, I think that would start when I was on the trading floor of HSBC Investment Bank on 9/11 and saw the Twin Towers collapse in front of me, and the trading floor manager got on top of the chair. The thing about real Bitcoin is that it enables proper innovation and entrepreneurialism. So when you come to a conference like this, you meet real entrepreneurs with great ideas that are actually executing them, and it's really inspiring. There's lots of fantastic projects to get involved in, there's lots of opportunities, and they have potential longevity because the underlying technology is sound.
So where can people get educated about Bitcoin?
Oh, well, they should definitely come to my website, which is bitcoin.com. But it's actually with 4 T's, right? Because Bitcoin is the true technology of total transformation. So it's bit with 4 T's, coin.com.
Bit with 4 T's.
Yes.
So say that again. You were doing door-to-door panels.
So, yeah, I was just selling door-to-door. And it ended up being that it doesn't solve any of our problems. The grid was still not resilient enough to survive. You've got a tree falling into a power line in Texas, and you've got 300 people dead because the power went out. How are solar panels helping that? How do we get them to the point where they can actually save those lives and help the grid develop in the future? And the reality is that it's going to come down to IPv6 integration and open markets, so that we can integrate the distributed energy resources that we have available to us, and let them communicate across an open network, so that we can regulate these markets and incentivize the development of these resources. So a metawatt is what I've created, and it's basically a Satoshi per kilowatt, and you can tag that Satoshi with all of the data associated with where that kilowatt came from. And really, I coined it a metawatt because ultimately, we're working towards the adoption.
It's trackable NFT.
It is NFT style, but we're working towards. It's got to be splittable, right? So it's an interesting standard. I know Vianex.
Over the next 10 years, about 10 years from now, we're going to be at a point where you get less than a Bitcoin per block mine in subsidy.
Fairtrax is an AI-assisted licensing platform and e-commerce marketplace for licensing music that will revolutionize, change, and completely disrupt the way that music is played, synced, and licensed in film, TV, advertising, games, and immersive.
Question number 2, will it work? 83% of unicorns have actually stuck to the original product vision that they had. So is your solution really the right one
for this one. And we need to be self-critical. Too often, blockchain has been used as a hammer looking for a nail. And we need to turn this around. We need to start with the nail. That nail needs to be a rusty one that's hurting, that's really, you want to get rid of it, and hammer it home. You need to find the right solution for it. And does it really solve the problem? Will it work? The third question is then,
Wrap right there. It's a great day. Now we're gonna have a little dinner right now at the end of the event. And conference was a success, day 2. So now we're down at some place nearby. And Mila, say goodbye. Bye for now. See you at the top.